How's everybody doing today? It's that awkward first couple minutes of a Facebook Live. You just never know. Are we live? Are we scrolling? What's going on? Okay, so now I see that we're actually live. Good morning. My name is Crispina French, and I am a creative textile recycling entrepreneur, activist, um, environmentalist, influencer. That did not roll off the tongue that well this morning. But anyway, I am right here in Beckett, Massachusetts, and we're in day number 26 of a 30-day series all about creative textile recycling and the process that I use for my business and for my life, and how you might want to jump into that too because it's super fun and empowering, and it nurtures people from a lot of different angles that I never really thought about until I started thinking about it about I guess it was about a year and a half ago, when I was imagining, like, how can I explain why I do what I do to people who are intrigued by it but not really aware of all benefits. So thanks for tuning in with me today. Good morning, Carolyn. Oh, it looks like we have a nice crowd gathering this morning. How awesome is that? So, one of the things that is a really big benefit about recycling textiles is that you get to use materials that are unusual. So you're not always able to find, a lot of times when you shop for fabric at like your local Joanne Fabrics, or you wind up finding kind of similarly aesthetic stuff. And, if all your sewing friends are doing the same kinds of shopping, you wind up with a similar kind of look and feel to your product, even if you're shopping at like quilt shops or whatever. When you shop for fabric in a thrift store setting, you wind up finding really rich, really beautiful, really patinaed fabrics that you wouldn't find in a new fabric setting. And there's one little disclaimer I have about that, and that is that I recently got a post from a really lovely young woman, Jenna, who made a beautiful quilt. And she was apologizing for using new fabric because she said it was all that she had. And I feel like it's really important in these days of our, we're confined in our homes for the most part, and we're thinking about the environment in different ways. We're realizing that the slowing in our activity in our environments creates cleaner air and cleaner water and less consumption. So, a lot of us who are kind of lifelong crafters have what's commonly referred to as craft stash. And I wholeheartedly encourage anyone out there with a craft stash to dig into it, use it up. Um, don't feel like you have to go and um, source new to you materials in a thrift setting to recycle. If you already have things, even if it was you purchased a kit to make a quilt 25 years ago and you haven't gotten to it yet, use that fabric for something that's going to bring you joy today. And don't feel bad about it, feel great about it. So, Jenna, two thumbs up on the beautiful quilt. If you're out there listening to me today or you get wind of this, please post pictures on the page, because I think that your work is gorgeous and it's really helpful for other people to see what what their what their comrades are doing. Okay, so today I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about um, things that happen when I've been recycling as a business for over 30 years, which just seems so crazy to me. But one of the things that happens to me, or I think it's pretty common, is that once you kind of get a mindset of wanting to consume as little as possible and wanting to considering your footprint, if you will. That's a term that just kind of connects what you use and how you dispose of what you use in the world. What's your carbon? I think it comes from the carbon footprint, which is basically how much pollution do you create with your lifestyle. So my goal is to create zero, have a carbon neutral footprint, which is, there's a lot of terminology around all of these things, but it does happen. Whereas when you start thinking about it, you think about, oh, I can recycle clothing and make beautiful product and blankets and teach people how to do that as well. And all of a sudden, I'm recycling my, I drink oat milk from a company called Oatly, and they package their product in these Terra boxes, which are, you know, plastic coated paper, which are non-recyclable where we live. And I actually, you know, they're like a liter or a quart. I think it's actually a quart. So I cut them in half and I flip them over, and now I have two little plant pots for starting seeds. I did that this spring, and I actually, full disclosure, I stopped drinking Oatly oat milk, and I love the company, I love their product, but I really hate their packaging because their packaging is non-recyclable in our area, and I couldn't feel good about creating all of that waste and not being able to use it for anything. So I'm live right now. I can't really talk to you. Um, so um, anyway, I'm sorry. I just got interrupted. Um, so um, 1 second, please. I'm just gonna sign this check for you. And excuse me, you guys. I'm sorry. I just have to take care of one thing. It's supposed to be at 9 o'clock this morning. Thank you, sweetie. Okay, so back with you. Sorry about that. We just got a delivery and I had to sign a paper for that. Okay, so where was I? Okay, spilling over. So the Dolphin Studio is a business that my sister and I run together. It's a screen printing business, and our signature product is a beautiful screen printed calendar. And you can find out all about what the Dolphin Studio does and our kind of family history at the website that I'm just typing into the comments right now. And one of the things that happens when, you know, I'm a textile recycler, so the people often wonder, like, what's up with the screen prints? Like, why do you send out these beautiful screen prints? And one of the reasons, well, the reason why is because I grew up with the screen printing business that my parents founded in 1970, making these beautiful calendars. And our 2021 calendar is underway right now. We're printing it downstairs. I'm going to do a full-on studio tour and show you the process tomorrow and Saturday here live at 11, so you can learn more about it then. But the Dolphin Studio also is we're really into recycling. So these are some packs of these are old, they're 12 by 12 inch squares, and we take all the images that are you know, we call them rejects or strikes that are not perfect for calendars, and we cut them and package them in these craft packs. So you can use these for scrapbooking, collaging, origami. The paper's a little on the heavyweight side to use for most origami, and they come in two sizes. So the 6 by 6 inch squares are 12 sheets for $10. You can get these at thedolphinstudio.com. And then the 12 by 12 inch squares come 18 to a pack, and they're $24 for 18 sheets of hand printed, beautiful, awesome paper from back years of the Dolphin Studio screen prints. So they're also great for making gift cards for the holidays and such. And I also use those to make my little, you might have seen these in my shop. These are the embroidery floss palette kits that I offer each season. So right now, summer 2020 is available in my shop, and coming soon, the fall ones will be going in. Actually, it won't be for another month. It just feels like fall today. It's kind of chilly out there. So they're super fun and versatile, and you can create these amazing like I use these envelopes for the little needle books that I make, and inside is a little piece of fabric, and the needles go right in there. So the whole thing about recycling and having that go into other parts of your life, all of a sudden you're like, okay, considering like when my mom and dad passed away, my sister and I found like I think we had over 20,000 sheets of back, old prints. And they're beautiful and they're cool and you can use them for all kinds of stuff. But 20,000 sheets is an awful lot of sheets. So we started with those, the create craft paper kits. And then we also have this really cute little, we do these journals. So these are all old pages of the calendar that are, one side is one half of the page is, white, and then the other half is a piece of an old month, and you can doodle or create or just leave it as is and just use the white side for writing. So the journals are also a nice little recycling project that we use the offcuts from this calendars from. So those are two ideas that I just want to throw out there to you. So if you're an artist, a paper artist, or you create things that are, prints especially that you always have prints that are not perfect. So you have a nice little way to use those is it's a great way to it's actually kind of a cool way to promote the original company as well. So even with my little envelopes, my little packs of embroidery floss, as well as having a really cool reusable pack for my customers, it kind of gives them a little bit of the Dolphin Studio as well. And then I just also wanted to show you one other thing that's also kind of a screen print Crispina collaboration. So this is what I call my Wherever You Go. And this year, I just developed these like late last year. So it was like I guess it was like September of last year, and I thought, okay, next summer I'm going to market these to all the cultural events in the Berkshires, which is where I live, and there's tons of different organizations that have really great summer festivals, from music festivals to like outdoor performance spaces to museums and just cultural, like Jacob's Pillow, Mass Mocha, Tanglewood, um, Shakespeare and Company, the Berkshire Theater Festival. The list goes on and on. There's just all of these really cool events that happen, and a lot of them happen outdoors where food is served and there's tons of plastic utensils, which are just kind of gross. Like, really, you're going to use that plastic spoon because it's easier to have something that's going to kick around in the landfill for the next few hundred years rather than just bring a spoon and wash it. So here I made this really cool little package. So this is a linen, it's actually cotton. It's a tea towel, and I folded it to and stitched it, and it holds a knife, a fork, and a spoon, and these little pouches. Um, Sorry, I can't hold it up and show you at the same time as pulling them out, but they come with, recycled from the thrift store, good silverware, or you can use your own if you prefer, but they do come with silverware from the thrift store, and they go in this little pouch. So this, there's like little stitched pouches here, and then you can use the tea towel as a napkin when you're eating. Replace your silverware in the pouches, roll it back up, and toss it back in your bag for washing when you get home. So if you can wrap your head around using a Wherever You Go with this cute little screen print that we made, all silverware, salt shaker. It's there we go. So then you can put an end to your single-use plastic consumption forever, right? So there's one thing about throwing silverware in your bag, and then you have a fork or spoon or floating around your bag, and maybe it's not clean when you need it to be, and maybe it's getting your stuff inside your bag all kind of grimy. So this kind of answers that question. So I just put them back in the little pockets. You just roll it up like that, and it's got a nice little tie that you can tie up, and the the napkin is easy clean. Just throw it in the wash machine and dryer, and the outcome is a really great way to say no to single-use silverware. So in addition to having that I print that say, you know, reduce, reuse, and recycle with my web address on it. There, I also had an idea. Wouldn't it be cool if you were having like a family, um, you know, get together, whether it's a wedding or graduation or a family reunion, and have them. I mean, we could screen print them up with custom information. If it's a wedding, we could do the wedding couple's names and wedding date. If it's graduation, same thing. Like we could just screen print them with, you know, the name of the graduate and the date and maybe the place they're graduating from. In order for that to make sense for us, we would need to be making at least, you know, probably at least 75 or 100 items because it's quite labor intensive to do all the prep work to get the screen, you know, design it and make the screen. So probably not this summer, but maybe next summer we can get back into the whole gathering in public, lots of people together kind of thing I miss so much this summer. So keep that in mind if you have an event coming up, and it might be kind of a fun kind of gift to send out to the people you're not inviting to your wedding this summer because of COVID, and to just have everybody have kind of a nice memento from that. Although, you know, it's already August, so if you're getting married this summer, you probably have your plan in place already. Um, at any rate, those are my fun little how things kind of spill out um, all over my life. Like I started out recycling, you know, really I started out buying um, packaged goods that had biodegradable packaging. That's where I started. And that led into this life of creative textile recycling, which has spilled out into every aspect of my life. So that I think it happens to all of us, right? No matter what your passion is. So I'm just going to check the comments now. The somebody was talking. Kim was talking about you learning to make a oatmeal mush. I bet you it's called something different, but that's what I did. Is I learned how to make oat milk. And I can tell you honestly that Oatly oat milk is far superior to my homemade oat milk. But I really don't like that packaging, and I really am committed to making my footprint as carbon neutral as possible. So I make oat milk, and I'm hoping that the more I make oat milk, that it will become something a little tastier than it is right now, because it tastes a little bit oaty, more oaty than I would like it to. It tastes, I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't know. I keep thinking, oh, if I add vanilla or put a little maple syrup or whatever. If anybody has oat milk magical recipes that make it taste delicious and keep it from separating, that's the biggest issue I have, is that it just kind of, you know, I put it in the fridge and it just, I mean, I don't mind it, but my kids look at it and they're like, oh, I'm not going to use that because it separates. So yeah, if you have a product that you love that comes in packaging that you hate, there is always the opportunity to learn how to make that product, so you can skip the packaging part. And I do that a lot. So like this weekend, my plan is to blueberry pick so I can make blueberry preserves. And then I was hoping to get to the farmer's market yesterday to get, I want to get a bushel of peaches to put in my freezer. My kids love to make smoothies, and they love jams and jellies. So I try to do frozen fruit and jam every summer, so that I have never to this day succeeded in making enough to get through the year. But I make as much as I can so that I can, again, cut down on the packaging. And if anybody out there is a canner, if you do canning, whether it's jams or jellies or pickles or sauce or whatever, it's really hard to find canning materials right now. Everybody is sold out. Yesterday I tried to find covers for I use the wide mouth jars because sometimes I put them in the freezer, and those ones are easier to freeze with. And there's not a wide mouth cover in Berkshire County as far as I can find. So let me just get back over here to the comments. I see that Carolyn's asking about thrift shops that are closing. I have not experienced that. I was actually yesterday I was in my first thrift shop since March or February actually, and it was one that is not a great thrift shop for my needs, and it did not have a great amount of inventory. Although it was open, I was glad to see, and I was glad to see every single person I ran across yesterday in my travels outside of my home, which I think I've only been out since March. I think I've really been out. I think that was my sixth trip out. Um, Everybody was masked, which was awesome. I was so proud of them to just really be taking precautions to protect our community. Um, so yeah, there was a bunch of people out shopping. There was a bunch of clothing in the thrift store, but not stuff that I was willing to really dive into. My thought is that if I'm gonna dive into that environment and have all the questions running through my mind of like, oh my gosh, is this safe? Ah, it's got to be a place where I can just go and shop and know that I'm going to find a lot of stuff that I'm going to be able to use, and then go home and shower and change and keep myself safe. So now let's see. Alternatives for those that are going out of business. I have to tell you that I have not used these platforms myself, but my daughter has. Poshmark and ThreadUp are two that I know of that sell used clothing online, and I think they operate quite differently. I think now I can't remember which is which, but one of them lists like you can go there and list your own stuff, and the other one I think they ship right from their warehouse or whatever. Excuse me. So those are two to look up. I'm just going to put those Poshmark.com and ThreadUp. I think it's ThreadUp, just with no hyphen on that for their URL. Those are two. And actually, if you go to ThreadUp, see if you can find the cool little carbon footprint quiz they have. There's like a how what kind of a clothing recycler are you kind of quiz, and it's super fun, and it's quick, and it kind of gives you a little insight on ways that you could become more conscientious um, with your clothing habits, if you will. The other thing that's a really cool reference for anybody who's looking to diminish their textile impact in the world is an organization called Remake. And I just punched in their URL, and it's not giving me a link. But Remake is an organization that I'm actually an ambassador for, and it's a not-for-profit organization whose mission is to make fashion a force for good, which is just so awesome because the fashion industry, from growing crops or manufacturing raw material to make textiles, all the way through to the sewing of the product and then selling and purchasing of the product. There is a lot of kind of not great business practices. There's a lot of pollution. There's a lot of unfair treatment of labor. There's a lot of just kind of backward stealing, and a lot of those people who are affected by that kind of backwards way of thinking are women. The vast majority of people in the garment manufacturing industry, the laborers are predominantly women. So when you make fashion a force for good, you're really empowering millions and millions of women across the world. So take a look at that organization. I'm just going to type in check out it's a not-for-profit whose mission. Oh, there you go. Carolyn just popped it out. Carolyn, you're the bomb. Thank you. Yeah, check them out. They have a thing right now. It's a 90-day challenge for no new clothes, and you can interpret that the way you want to. You can say, I'm not going to buy anything that's new clothes, or you can say, I'm not going to buy any clothes that are new to me. So that would be a bigger challenge, because that would be no thrift store clothes either. But imagine if everybody took the challenge for 90 days to not purchase any new clothing to them. it would really have a huge impact in the flow of waste from the textile industry. There's so much. I think the textile industry is the largest landfill generating industry that there is in our human consumption. Um, so that is crazy, and we have the ability to make an impact. So that's what I'm all about. So I don't want to keep you too much. I think I've been rambling for a little while here. I hope you found this helpful today, you guys. And tomorrow we're going to do that studio tour, 11 o'clock, live at 11, Saturday morning. And I'll be back every day until the 11th, which is coming right up. I believe the 11th, is it Tuesday or Wednesday? I believe it's Tuesday of next week. So the series is like flying by. I can't believe it. It's been so much fun to hang out with you guys each morning at 11, and I look forward to the last few days we have to share. So share it around. If you are interested in getting a hold of one of my awesome screen prints that I send out to people for free, you can tag someone who you think will enjoy this feed and be able to join us. They don't have to join us live. They can just appreciate it and on their own time. If you share, pop a link in the feed to someone who you think would be interested, I will send you a print in the mail, and you just have to send me your mailing address. Either slide into my direct messages or an email. If you're on my email list and you just hit reply to any email I've sent you, it will get right back to my team, and we will pop you a very special hand printed card. It's not really a card, it's actually a print. It's frameable, signed and numbered print. And as a thank you for sharing the just the good word, right, about preserving our environment and taking really good care of each other. And the other way you can get a hold of a card is